Hello universe, this is Gypsy. I'm at home on Cooper's farm. I'm making a quick video to talk about how I lost 40 pounds in 1 year. And to kind of give you an idea of how that went, because it wasn't really a sudden rush or anything that I felt like was too extreme. But for years, for about 25 years, I was a vegetarian, and I would eat things in the rice families and pastas and stuff like that. And they're high calorie. It wasn't the healthiest vegetarian diet, but I just didn't care for meat, so it was an easy decision for me to always go to salad bars and pile the crap on, really, all the pastas and things that you really shouldn't eat, potato salads and things like that. So I did that for 25 years, and I know initially, the first 30 years of my life, the only way to keep weight off was to practically starve, because I had so many unhealthy carbs in my life. When I worked in an office when I was a paralegal, it wasn't difficult for me to drink water, to increase my water intake to help lose weight. And you will lose weight if you drink the 8-ounce glasses a day. You'll also stay in the bathroom every half hour. I can't do that as a registered nurse. Anybody who knows a nurse knows that they're lucky if they get to have a lunch break or visit a bathroom during their 12-hour shift at all. Especially if you work for hospitals. It's not a nursing shortage. They deliberately short staff. They treat it like a factory. How much can they get out of a nurse? How short can you run a floor? That's the reality. And there's empirical data to prove that. There's studies that have proved that, and that's why you're seeing the nurses march on Washington and try to get nursing ratios. But anyway, this is a weight loss video. So, vegetarian all these years, able to do water drinking, would fall off the wagon, would get back on the yo-yo dieting, back and forth, going to the gym, taking belly dance classes, all that stuff, back and forth, back and forth. Nutrisystems, tried that, didn't work. Weight Watchers, worked while I did it, fall off that wagon. And this year, after a lot of research, and I don't mean just Googling or watching YouTube videos, I mean, doing some research, I decided to go on a carb detox, for lack of a better word. Now, mind you, I was drinking a gallon of sweet tea by myself a day. So I needed it. I needed to go on a carb detox. I needed to make some serious changes in my diet. Well, I started looking into the folks that were doing the keto diet, and I didn't feel comfortable with ketosis. It looked too much like ketoacidosis that our diabetics go into. And they'll argue with you that it's not, that it's safe. But if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it might be a bird. And it sure does look like what happens to my patients when they start into ketoacidosis. I wasn't comfortable with that. But there was enough good information out there about a low-carb, high-protein diet that made me willing to try to see if that might be something that suited my body, because everybody's body is different. I've got a friend who's been doing vegetarian along with her husband, and she's lost 40 pounds in a year, and she looks fantastic, and she feels great. They get in situations, though, like when we traveled, where they're menu was very limited on the cruise that we went on. They didn't have a lot of selection. They didn't have a lot of choices. That was unfortunate. And there was no way that they could have planned any different for themselves when on vacation like that. So I decided to try to keep my carbohydrates under 20 grams a day. Now that is insanely restrictive. You can get 20 carbs in one candy bar. You can get 20 carbs in a beverage. But I did it. The first 3 days I didn't feel good. I really did feel like I was detoxing, guys. I really did feel like I was going through a withdrawal system with my system. I didn't feel 100%. I felt bad. But oddly enough, I didn't have sugar cravings. And one thing that I'd consistently always had all my life was sugar cravings. It's crazy. And I know diabetics crave sugar. I've cared for enough of them, especially now that I'm working in dialysis. A large portion of my patients are diabetics. And I remember Mama, how she would crave sugar. And I'd watch how many of the little pink packets she would put in her coffee, and I'd say, Mommy, you know that there's some information available that says that might be a neurotoxin. You're drinking neurotoxins. It's artificial. It's an artificial sweetener. They made a few changes to the formula, but it was still pulled from the market and repackaged and rebranded. I just remember all these things from when she was alive. She's been gone for more than a decade now. But I made the changes. And I wanted to make it easy on myself at first, because to me it felt extreme, having a natural desire to be a vegetarian, to prefer vegetables over meat. When I'm offered meat or vegetables, I'd gravitate towards the vegetables, and then to feel like the only thing that I could eat would be meat, unless I were to do something like, beans and rice, which are high carbs. You can balance it. If you're a vegetarian, you can still do the high protein. And there are vegetables that are low carb, and you have to learn those vegetables as well. So I did it for 3 days, and was surprised that I lost 8 pounds. And I said, well, okay, those are actually typical results when I start watching either on Weight Watchers or whatever diet I'm following, strict vegetarian, water drinking, whatever. It's not unusual to drop 8 pounds. A lot of that's water, just water, nothing more. So I stretched it out to a week. It actually got easier. High protein got easier. So I stretched it out to a month. Well, by the end of the month, I'd lost close to 15 pounds. By the end of the second month, I'd lost 20 pounds. So I started this around the end of August, I think August 31st. And this is January, I think I did a weigh-in around the 20th. I'm 40 pounds down. I have not been exercising. Yes, I'm working really hard. I've been training on a new job, and I'm on my feet, and I'm a lot more active than I was before I took this job. The job that I had before this was predominantly at a desk. I was a CMS surveyor for DHEC in Columbia. It was an executive position. It was a desk job, administrative management type position. And yes, I'm very active, because initially what you do is you train as a PCT, a tech, and then you go out and you train as a nurse. And I most recently, I guess for lack of a better word, graduated, and now they're training me as a nurse. So I'm more active. Can't drink the fluids and the waters, of course, because you can't run to the bathroom every half hour. Nurses just can't do that. Don't have a lot of time for meal planning, but on my days off, it's just not that hard to put a roast or something in the crock pot and then section it up and put it in freezer containers, and grab the freezer containers and take them with me to work. It's just an easy lunch. It's easier than when I was a vegetarian, because I kept having vegetables go bad and it would frustrate me. My lettuces would go bad, or I'd go to make a salad and a tomato would be bad, or I wouldn't have onions to make a soup, and it was just so frustrating. Now I have pre-made meals in the freezer. I make quiche a lot without the breaded bottom, just a plain vegetable, the low-carb vegetable quiches. But I'm really surprised at how easy this has been. The sugar cravings are gone. They left me just a few weeks into this process. They're completely gone. I mean, I'm kind of amazed. No exercise. I'm never really hungry. I usually get up at 4 in the morning because I have to be to work at around 6. And we have a breakfast break around 9, and that's when I eat my first meal. I drink my coffee black instead of loading it with cream and sugar, but I can have cream because it's a protein. It's also lactulose. It is a high carb protein, but I can have it. Guys, I'm just surprised. But for those of you who've been asking, yeah, I've lost weight. I think it was not really noticeable to the people who are around me the most until the first 20 pounds were gone. But it's really evident to people now when they see me. I carry a lot of weight in the lower periphery of my body because I'm half Czechoslovakian. It's always in the hips, thighs, and buttocks. But, you know, the bust was much fuller. Clothing, I've only had to get rid of a few pieces. They're just fitting looser now. I can still wear my suits and stuff like that. I guess it's just the way that they're made, and I could tailor them down to make them fit perfectly if I needed them. Really don't need them. I just need my nursing uniforms and my casual clothes on the days that I'm off. I don't need my suits. But I just wanted to touch base with you guys and let you know, yeah, this is how I've lost 40 pounds this year. I don't know if it would work for you. I don't know if it would appeal to you. I can say that it was easy for me. And honestly, maybe it's worth a try if you've been struggling. Food for thought. Guys, thank you for stopping by. If you haven't already subscribed, please feel free to. I love making new friends. And I'll talk to y'all later.